A special patch on their uniform sleeves today in memory of their fallen Hall of Famer, number 34, Walter Payton. A moment of silence will be observed at each NFL stadium, and flags will be flown today at half-staff. We welcome you back to our New York studio, everyone. We at the NFL Today join the rest of the football world in mourning the loss this week of Walter Payton, the NFL's all-time rushing leader. And those of us who watched him play saw a runner of incomparable strength. And those of us who were privileged enough to know him saw a man of infinite grace. Here is how some members of the Pro Football Hall of Fame remember their fellow enshrinee.
You could look at him and tell this guy is something special about this guy. And when he hit the field, you just knew it.
I remember hitting, I call him Mr. Payton. And you're talking about a guy whose his body was just solid as a rock. I mean, he ran hard. He looked so graceful going through the holes. Nice guy. I mean, you knock him, hit him with everything you got, and he'll end up helping you up off the field, you know? That's what I'm talking about. That guy was the one that, you know, in my mind, the two greatest players who have ever played the game is Jim Brown and Walter Payton. And I couldn't even tell you who's first.
When I equate things to Walter, there's never been a greater heart. And I love heart. I love people with heart. Walter had the heart of a lion. I mean, he was unbelievable. He had great acceleration, he had great balance, acrobatic balance, and he had great strength. And he used every bit of it.
I think Coach Hallis has finally got the greatest bear of them all on his heavenly team. You know, when you think about all the guys who have gone before us, Nagurski, Luckman, Piccolo, Steinhardt, Gallimore, Farrington, Osmanski, George, Lee, Marconi, Dave Witzel a couple of weeks ago. All those great Bears that have joined George Hallis, I'll tell you one thing, he's saying, hey, I finally got the final piece of the puzzle. I finally got the final piece of the puzzle. I got the greatest bear.
What an eloquent tribute from his old coach. And another Hall of Famer, our colleague Marcus Allen, attended the private funeral service for Walter on Friday in Chicago. And Marcus now joins us from Cleveland. Marcus, what do you remember most about Walter Payton?
Well, a man of uncommon valor. Incredible. I don't think it's been adequately expressed of how great he really was, Jim, and what it really took to ascend to that level. I mean, a guy that inhaled, exhaled rarefied air. Incredible man on top of that. He took out time for me early in my career when I was with the Raiders. He gave me a Commitment to Excellence award, which the irony of that, he was the guy who epitomized commitment and excellence. And later, after I broke his touchdown record, Walter said some very glowing things about me. He took out the time to do that. He was accessible. He was a wonderful person. He was a beautiful irony. He played this game at such a high level, and he was artistry in a very violent game. And he was David, who was playing against Goliaths. And in the end, he turned out to be the giant, the guy who I think was bigger than everybody on the field.
Thank you, Marcus.
Thank you.
We'll be checking in with you a little bit later here on the program. I want to just ask my guys here. Craig, you started opposite Walter Payton in the backfield in the Super Bowl back in January 1986. Your memories of Walter Payton?
Well, and I played against him in a Pro Bowl. I also, played against him in other games. But every time I saw Walter away from the field, I'd go up and I'd introduce myself and I'd say, hey, Walter, Craig James. He'd laugh and he'd smile and he'd give me a hug. He'd say, hey, number 32, I know who you are. He made me feel like I had run for as many yards as he had. And I know the next time I see Walter, I'll be in heaven. And I can guarantee he remembers my number.
And it was great to really get a chance in those Pro Bowls to get to know Walter Payton. But as a football fan, we're always talking about running styles. Well, what you saw when Walter Payton ran was Walter Payton. There was a joy in the way he ran. Every run was a celebration. And you always tell people, go out and have fun. Walter Payton had more fun than anybody I ever watched.
Well, I got to coach against Walter in his rookie season. And I'll never forget, the scores got out of hand. He wasn't with a good football team. But his style never changed. He never ran out of bounds. He never quit bringing that ball at you. And the fourth quarter to him was just like the first quarter. The best I ever coached against.
Walter Payton was a man of many firsts, not only in football, but also in business and charity. And we at CBS Sports remember Walter for the significant role he played during our NFL coverage back in the 70s and 80s. In another of his first, Walter Payton was the subject of one of the first sports music pieces. It aired here on Thanksgiving Day, 1977. And now 22 years later, the lyrics and the sentiments behind them still ring true as we look at the career of Sweetness.
Nobody does it better. Makes me feel sad for the rest. Nobody does it half as good as you. Baby, you're the best.
Pitch back to Walter Payton. Change of direction. Daylight for Walter. Look out. Here he goes. Touchdown, Walter Payton.
And I thought you would like to take a look at Walter Payton in action. We have tapes from the Senior Bowl, and it appears as though Walter Payton has a chance to become a pretty good player in the NFL.
Number 34, from Jackson State, Walter.
I never wanted to look back and say, well, I could have did this or I could have done this a little bit better, or if I'd have worked a little harder. So that's why I try to play every play as hard as I can.
There's the rushing record. Walter Payton becomes the all-time single-game rushing leader in the NFL. Sensational run by Walter Payton. Quick pitch to Walter, looking for the record. Touchback. He's got it. Walter Payton becomes the National Football League all-time leading rusher, surpassing Jim Brown.
The motivating drive for me has been for the athletes that didn't get an opportunity, like the Overstreets and the Delaney's and the Brian Piccolos. You know, this simplifies what the game is made of, and what I did out there today is a reflection of those guys, because they made the sacrifices as well. Chicago Bears. Kiss, kiss, kiss. Kiss, 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 kiss.
He shakes off the tackle. Payton inside the 5. Touchdown. What a play. Number 34 will be retired.
A lot of people do things in life for the money. A lot of people do things in life to fulfill dreams, to fulfill voids in their lives. What everybody seems to forget is it was all fun, and that's what it's all about.